All right, fans, let's roll the tape back to the mid-1980s when Jimmy Valiant's hair had its own fan club and Paul Jones had more henchmen than a Saturday morning cartoon villain.
Indeed, Tony. Throughout this period, the Boogie Woogie Man found himself locked in a seemingly endless conflict with Paul Jones and his rotating cast of ne'er-do-wells known as Paul Jones' Army. An army with no discipline, no strategy, and absolutely no matching uniforms.
That's right, Gordon. This army changed members more often than Jimmy Valiant changed wristbands. One week it's the Barbarian, the next week it's Baron von Raschke, and someone in there, T. Joe Khan, wanders in looking for the wrong airport.
And every single one of them had the same mission: beat up Jimmy Valiant and, if possible, emotionally scar him by attacking his greatest treasure, his hair.
But gentlemen, the rivalry escalated dramatically in early 1986 when Valiant's trusted ally and tag partner, Pistol Pez Wattley, committed one of the great betrayals in wrestling history, right there during a television interview.
That's right, 1 minute's handshakes and friendship, the next minute, Pez is saying, "You know what? I'm having a career-changing identity crisis on camera."
The spark, Jimmy Valiant, in a moment of well-meaning but spectacularly clumsy phrasing, referred to Pez as the best black wrestler,
which Pez heard as, "Congratulations, you've just won the most backhanded compliment of 1986.
Whatley took offense, rightfully so, and responded not with calm discussion, but with a time-honored wrestling solution: a physical assault and an impromptu haircut.
That's when Pez went from pistol to barber and Jimmy Valiant went from shaggy to visibly concerned.
In that moment, ladies and gentlemen, Pez Wattley ceased to exist. Rising from the ashes was Shaska Whatley, complete with a newly adopted Zulu warrior persona and a permanent seat in Paul Jones's army.
Yes, under Paul Jones's guidance, which mostly consisted of yelling and waving a riding crop, Shaska embraced arrogance, anger, and a gimmick that screamed, "This will age strangely."
And if that wasn't enough, Shaska wasted no time pouring gasoline on the fire. His promos were scathing, declaring that if there was anything he hated more than a black honky tank, it was a white honky tank. A direct shot at Jimmy's dancing, jukebox-fueled lifestyle.
Meanwhile, Paul Jones leaned fully into the madness, parading around in a faux military outfit, calling himself the General, despite commanding an army that couldn't march in a straight line.
It was less West Point and more Spirit Halloween.
Jones's obsession with Valiant's hair bordered on the pathological. The beard, the bleached locks, these were symbols of Jimmy's identity, and Jones wanted them gone at any cost.
So after months of ambushes, brawls, sneak attacks, and bad decisions on NWA television, everything boiled over.
At the Great American Bash 1986, the feud reached its logical and follicular conclusion. Jimmy Valiant versus Shaska Whatley in a hair versus hair match, where the loser wouldn't just lose the match.
He'd lose his hair in front of God, the fans, and whoever brought the clippers.
History will be made, gentlemen, mostly because nobody involved would ever forget that haircut.
We take you now to July 5th, 1986, Charlotte Memorial Stadium, Night 4 of the Great American Bash Tour, or as the locals called it, the hottest day to watch a haircut in human history.
Indeed, Tony. Over 20,000 spectators have gathered in this outdoor stadium, enduring oppressive Carolina heat of 102 degrees to witness what can only be described as a follicular grudge match.
That's right, Gordon. These people didn't come for air conditioning or shade. They came to see someone lose their hair and possibly suffer heat stroke doing it.
That's right, Joe. This isn't just a wrestling match. This is hair versus hair. The loser won't just lose the bout. He'll lose his pride, his identity, and his ability to use conditioner. Shaska Whatley wastes no time, jumping Jimmy Valiant with fist boots and enough choking to make the referee question his life choices.
Shaska's strategy is simple. Beat him up first, shave him later. It's like a violent salon package deal.
Whatley is clearly intent on softening Valiant for the Clippers. This is a calculated assault, albeit one with very little regard for sportsmanship.
Valiant fires back the only way he knows how: eye pokes, jabs, and those swinging, funky elbow shots that look like he's trying to swat invisible bees.
Every elbow connects with rhythm, Tony. He's not punching, he's grooving with intent.
Technical finesse has never been Mr. Valiant's calling card, but enthusiasm most certainly is.
Still, in these early minutes, Shaska Whatley is firmly in control. He's using his power and rage to toss Valiant around like yesterday's disco records.
And there it is. Jimmy's forehead has turned the exact shade of NWA main event red.
Yes, Valiant is bleeding profusely. This is the classic Southern style. Copious blood, high drama, and no concern whatsoever for laundry bills.
Nothing says grudge match like bleeding all over your own hair. The very thing you're trying to protect.
And of course, Paul Jones is having the time of his life at ringside, urging Shaska on like an evil maestro conducting an orchestra of bad decisions.
Every time Jimmy Valiant tries to fire up with a burst of punches or a little boogie-woogie footwork, Shaska shuts him right down.
It's like Jimmy keeps trying to start a dance party and Shaska keeps pulling the plug on the jukebox.
The crowd here is growing restless, urging their hero onward. They know Valiant needs momentum, and preferably something involving rhythm.
And now Shaska drags Valiant toward the corner, but wait, something's happening.
Uh-oh, Jimmy's starting to shake. He's shimmying. This can mean only one thing.
Yes, Valiant appears to be summoning that peculiar second wind of his, powered entirely by crowd noise and disco.
The Boogie Woogie Man absorbs the blows, dances through the pain, and suddenly breaks free.
Science cannot explain this. Doctors are baffled.
Valiant is firing back now, punches landing, Whatley rocked. The momentum has shifted dramatically.
But wait, Shaska Whatley resorts to the headbutt.
Ah, yes, the ancient wrestling technique known as, I have a very hard head.
Whatley drives his skull into Valiant's, dropping him instantly. That maneuver has turned the tide with brutal efficiency.
Jimmy Valiant hits the mat hard, covered by Shaska, 1-2. No, he just barely kicks out.
Jimmy's still in, though he certainly looks like he's seen 3 referees and all of them are disappointed in him.
Shaska is frustrated now. He pulls Valiant up and delivers another devastating headbutt. Whatley attempts a flying elbow drop.
And he misses. Nobody home.
That elbow just signed a lease with the canvas.
Valiant rolled out of the way at the last moment. Gentlemen, that missed elbow may very well be the turning point of this contest.
I don't think Shaska has a funny bone, Gordon. He's all grumpy bone. But that miss might have broken his butt bone at least.
This crowd is roaring. They sense the momentum shifting. Jimmy Valiant is crawling back up. He's feeling that boogie fever coming on.
Yes, Valiant appears to be hulking up in his own inimitable fashion, through finger-wagging, shimmying, and what I can only describe as interpretive disco.
Look at him go! Jabs to the midsection, a wild windmill punch, and those swinging elbows. Valiant is throwing everything but the jukebox. And here comes Paul Jones again, up on the apron with that riding crop because of course he is.
Paul Jones has never met a bad idea he didn't immediately try.
Boom! Jimmy Valiant drops Paul Jones with one right hand.
That punch has sent the general back to boot camp.
Jones is down, the crowd is roaring, and Valiant has seized complete control.
Sleeper hold. Jimmy Valiant locks in the sleeper right in the middle of the ring.
Shaska's eyes are popping out like he just realized his haircut is non-refundable.
Whatley is fading rapidly. His knees are buckling. This could be the end. Here comes Baron von Raschke, wearing that infamous black glove.
Raschke slides in and clobbers Valiant from behind. The sleeper is broken. Raschke is pulling on that glove, teasing the Iron Claw.
The crowd is booing, trash is flying, somewhere Rulebook is quietly sobbing.
But wait, here comes help for Valiant.
It's Manny Fernandez. The Raging Bull is charging the ring.
That man runs like he's late for a bar fight, and usually is.
Fernandez tackles Raschke, and the two are trading blows like it's closing time at the saloon.
They're brawling out of the ring, and now Shaska Whatley stumbles forward, completely unaware.
Uh-oh, Jimmy's holding the glove.
Wham, one punch. Shaska is down.
That's it, that punch just canceled Shaska's subscription to consciousness.
1, 2, 3.
It's over, Jimmy Valiant wins.
After approximately 13 minutes of chaos, betrayal, interference, and disco-powered vengeance, Jimmy Valiant has prevailed.
And listen to this crowd. The Boogie Woogie Man has won, and that means Shaska Whatley is about to receive the worst haircut of his life. Listen to this crowd. Jimmy Valiant has the clippers in hand, and that can only mean one thing.
The Boogie Woogie Man has gone from professional wrestler to licensed cosmetologist.
Several babyface wrestlers have entered the ring to restrain Whatley, including Manny Fernandez, who has finally stopped fighting Baron von Raschke long enough to assist. Valiant wastes no time. He fires up the clippers and begins shaving Shaska Whatley's head right in the middle of the ring.
And there goes the hair. Locks flying everywhere. This is less a haircut and more a follicular explosion.
Shaska's curls are heading into the crowd like souvenirs. Somebody's going home with a very strange keepsake tonight.
The crowd is alternating between thunderous cheers and outright laughter. Shaska Whatley's humiliation is complete. And now it's done. Shaska Whatley's once proud afro is completely gone. He is, quite frankly, as bald as a cue ball.
He walked in with hair, pride, and a gimmick. He's leaving with none of the above.
Valiant holds up a clump of hair as a trophy, and the Charlotte crowd responds with deafening approval.
What a moment. The Boogie Woogie Man stands tall, the Clippers are victorious, and Shaska Whatley will never forget this night.
Yes, this is the portion of the program where we must remove our rose-colored glasses and possibly our patience.
Because as entertaining as this spectacle was, the feud itself, kind of a letdown.
A real bait and switch. For about one glorious week, these two acted like actual human beings with depth.
Indeed. The initial angle showed promise. Both men exhibited new dimensions, altered personas, and promos that suggested genuine emotional investment.
And then poof, right back to honking horns, mugging for the camera, and turning the whole thing into background noise in the never-ending Jimmy Valiant versus Paul Jones saga.
It's like the feud equivalent of saying, just kidding, we're clowns again.
One might argue the storyline was sacrificed to maintain the eternal motion machine that was the Valiant-Jones rivalry.
And let's talk about the match itself.
Because we have to.
It wasn't good, not even close.
From a wrestling standpoint, it was rather suboptimal.
Garbage, let's call it garbage. The kind you leave on the curb and hope someone else deals with.
Final verdict?
6 out of 8.
A flawed feud, a poor match, but one unforgettable haircut.
And sometimes in wrestling, gentlemen, that's enough.